This meeting is hereby called to order. Meeting protocols have been established to allow the contest to be conducted in a respectful, orderly, and efficient manner. Please honor their spirit and intent. No photographs or recording may be made of this contest, either in part or in whole. Only contestants that have requested permission of the speech of the contest chair in advance will be allowed to record their speeches. We recognize that supporting your contestant is good, but flashing signs or other distractions are not allowed. Please note that pictures are being taken by contest staff. If you choose not to be in the picture, please leave the room. We simply do not have selective picture taking capability. By attending this speech contest, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International. Please set mobile phones and devices so that rings and alarms will not disturb the contest. Please note that you may not enter or leave the room during a contest speech. That means a speaker speaking. So you may enter the room in between while the judges are marking ballots, and there will be guards at the door to ensure this. I know, I'm ad-libbing. What can I say? You are welcome to eat at the break, but please do not eat during the contest. Please remain silent when the judges are marking their ballots. Silent. Okay? Lastly, some logistics. There are restrooms out there someplace. So take a look. Oh, are they? Because there are also some down toward my right. I now turn the meeting over to our contest chair. Please help me welcome Kate Mills.
Y'all seem like is this microphone working? Yeah. It seems like we're all in a great mood, and I love that. It's a great way to end up the contest season. Am I right? Well, first, let's introduce some VIPs. Could I ask the we have two-time director, past district director, governors, I believe we called them then, Bill Mine. Could we have Bill Mine stand up? Hi, Bill. Hi, Bill. When you're a district governor twice, it takes you've seen a lot of things. All right, we have some other past directors here. Do we have Tyree in the room? Thank you. How about Steve? Steve today, I think, had to leave. Steve, are you with us? He had left. Okay. Randy Ellington. See how they bow to each other? This is something we have to learn until we get to that position. Okay, Diane Boyce. There, we got Diane. All right. I don't think George is here. I think George is on the streaming. Ed Cullen. We have got Ed. Where's Ed? There's Ed. Hi, Ed. And Sally Philbinfield. Sally Philbinfield is also our Sergeant at Arms today. There she is in the back, guarding the door. See what happens? You think you take the top director job, and then guess what? You're the Sergeant at Arms, and maybe the next time you're something else. It's just the way it works in Toastmasters. Okay. You aren't kidding. You have to be immediate pass so you don't get away with it. All right, let's have some division directors. We have Daria Hoover, Division B. We have Ray Gowan, Division C. Ray, are you in the room? There you are. I'm not seeing Kishore. I thought Kishore was coming, but I'm not seeing him. All right, let's get through Division B. Do we have Division B area directors? No? Okay. So no A or B area directors. What do we have here? Division C. Division C again, Kurt Phillipson. And we got Kurt Phillipson. And we have Renee Hawk over here. Renee Hawk? I don't think Tony and Amanda. Do we have Tony and Amanda? No. Okay. Area D. Aki. Aki, are you here? There you are, way in the back. I don't know. I sit in the back so I can run like heck, like Jeff was talking about. All right, we have Nitin. Nitin's also at the timing table. All right, and holding it up for Division E, Trish Johnson. Yeah. All right. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm visually impaired, so you'll have to go with me on this. Oh, Kurt Hayashida. Oh, the other Kurt, the Kurt with the C and the Kurt with the K. Thank you for that. All right, now we have to take a moment of silence. Bill Guile was a member of the esteemed Oakland 88 Toastmasters Club, and he joined Toastmasters in 1986. And he passed away in February, so we lost a Toastmaster this year. So let's just take a moment. All right, thank you. Now, is anybody in here holding some kind of an appointed role or a chair job for the district? If you are, raise your hand, say hi, don't be shy. We won't make you sign up for another one next year. Take names. All right. Now, we have a special group of people in this room. If you have ever supported a Toastmaster, friends, family, anyone that's here that's ever supported a Toastmaster, raise your hand. Stand up and scream, tear your hair out. We don't care because you'll keep supporting us. It's a good program. So I thank you for that. Without them, we don't get to play at clubs, do we? So speech contests are an important part of Toastmasters' educational program. It allows us to see proficient speakers and for people to practice in different settings. So it's an important feature of Toastmasters. And this afternoon, we're going to have two contests. The first will be the table topics, and the second will be the international speech contest. The speeches today will be recorded. So they'll all be recorded. The ones for the international speech, the first place winners recording, that would be the introduction by the Toastmaster and their speech, will then be forwarded to the regional quarterfinals. So this speech will count for that contest as well. As we have two Toastmasters today, and they'll be describing the procedures for each of the contests just beforehand. If you were at the conference, there's a program that has a judge's guide in it, and for your use, if you want to play along and practice your judging, you can certainly use that form in there. Diane Floyce is our first Toastmaster. Now, Diane is a person, she's all strategy. She's straight up all strategy. She starts every project with a vision. She puts a team together, and she gets that group going. And it doesn't matter what part of her life that she's playing in. She's really also known as the, I don't know, I see your name change a bit, but you are really a person who gets people started in franchise, right? So like Lisa would be the contest queen, you're the franchise queen. But she actually has on there now the senior franchise queen. No, she calls herself really the franchise fitter. But I say this because it's important to know your identity, change with your identity, and keep your strategy going. And she's really good at it. She's an inspiration to all of us. So it should be no surprise that when she was past governor, director, depending on the cusp, is that she took this district to President's Distinguished, which is a very hard thing to do. But she did it by having a vision and having a team and motivating. So I bring that up. I know her because she's pretty well known for keynote speeches and a lot of other things. If you are looking for a good speaker, you see her name on some kind of an agenda, go to that meeting because you will be inspired. So I'm going to welcome up our contest Toastmaster for the Table Topics contest, Diane. There you go.
Thank you very much, Kate. You are now hired as my publicist. I will have to share that earlier this week, I was out of town for a franchise conference. We had what they call pitch meetings, where a franchise company would speak for 5 minutes and then have 2 minutes of Q&A. There was a brand new franchise company there. Everyone else had been up there. They had refrained from pulling out their phones or using their notes. And this new person was there with her phone, and she was literally shaking. Afterwards, I nicely told her about Toastmasters, and she was thrilled. I saw her the next day. She told me she had gone online and said she was looking at it, and I told her the different options of different types of clubs. So it seems appropriate that we blend the two, which doesn't happen very often. Before we get started, this is a very official meeting, so I'd like to welcome Hans Thoma up here. He is our chief judge, and he will be going through the contest rules.
Welcome, everyone. This is our year-end finale and the last D57 contest. How about that, huh? So, as you would expect, this contest is being conducted in accordance with the TI 2526 Speech Contest Rulebook. And contestants have been confirmed to be active, eligible members of a club in good standing. Qualified judges have also been appointed to score these contestants according to the criteria determined and selected by TI. Judges will then rank the contestants first, second, and third, and then a tiebreaker will rank all of the contestants in case we need to break a tie. Ballot counters here are in this room as well. I thank you for your service. They will be collecting the ballots, and the scores will be tallied with me in a smaller room to determine the results. The timekeepers in the center of the room here are using their stopwatches, and they will signal the speakers with the timing device at the center of the table there. When contestants reach 1 minute for table topics, they will see the green light. 1.5 minutes is yellow, and 2 minutes is red. The other timekeeper will record the times on the timer report. And I will collect this record sheet after the last presentation, and we'll see if anyone was disqualified for time. Another important role of this contest is the sergeant at arms. They collect the electronic devices from the contestants to make sure there's no phone interference or any chimes or chirps interrupting our fabulous contest. And they will be escorting them to a waiting area to prevent them from hearing or sharing the table topics question. That's right, a question has been chosen, but only one person gets to hear it at the same time. The rest will be sequestered so that they cannot hear the question. The sergeant at arms also keep order in the room during the contest, of course, which means that no one may come in or out of this room while a speech is in progress. Finally, sergeant at arms will open the door and allow passage between speakers. So if you need a bathroom break or any other type of break, please try to time it to be between a contestant. So, Madam Toastmaster, I believe that all contestants and functionaries, well, I know that they've all been briefed and I know that they're all ready, so I turn it back to you.
Thank you, Hans. Greatly appreciate that. This is my most favorite contest because of the unknown. The contestants come up here to a question they're not familiar with. There's drama, there's excitement, there's sweaty palms. Yes. Let me go through our speaking order today. We have 4 contestants. They drew for speaking order. Our first contestant is Julie St. Germain. Our second contestant, if you will mark this in your booklets, is Danish Karabi. Our third contestant is Sonia Batia. Our fourth contestant is Chris Lele. Let me repeat that one more time. First, Julie St. Germain. Second, Danish Karabi. Third, Sonia Batia. And fourth, Chris Lele. Sergeant at Arms, please escort contestants 2 through 4 to the waiting area. Monitor the contestants and release them into the main room when you receive the signal to send in the next one. Are you ready? Okay. Let us proceed. Contestant number 1. Oops. We will get her mic'd quickly.
Can you repeat the contestants again? It got confusing.
Sure, happy to. First is Julie St. Germain, and it might be confusing because we had one person that we did not hear from, and we were hoping that person might come, and that was Jackie, but she has not come. So thus you have an extra name listed and wondering what happened there. So we held off until the very end. So first is Julie St. Germain, second is Danish, third is Sonia, and fourth is Chris. And thank you very much for asking that. We would never want to omit or slight anyone, particularly with this type of a contest. Also, because this is a fairly formal event, I will primarily be reading the script, which many of us Toastmasters don't do, but we want to make sure that everything goes smoothly and that we don't forget anything. When the contestant comes out, I will call their name, I will say the question, I will repeat the question, and I will also show the question on a sheet of paper to the contestant. So they will both hear and see it. And of course, once they come to the stage and make that first sound or gesture, the timing clock will start. Our first contestant is Julie St. Germain. The question is, what's most important to pass on to the next generation? What's most important to pass on to the next generation? Julie St. Germain.
Put your hands up if you have ever climbed up a steep hill. You're climbing and you're breathing hard and you get up there. You're up at the top, you're up at the summit, and you look out over the view and you feel the rush of endorphins. You feel wonderful. Put your hands up if you felt that. All right. Now, for those of us who aren't athletes, you get up to the top of the hill and you're doing this. You're telling yourself, oh my God, I've got one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. What if, and I'm going back to the athletes, you athletic types standing like this at the top of the hill. What if you're at the top of the hill and suddenly realize there's more hill? You've got to keep going. What if you realize that the hill is getting taller every second, faster than you can walk? There's no end to the hill. Little despair, maybe? A little fear? Here's the thing. There is no top of the hill. We are engaged in Toastmasters on a journey of self-improvement. We are here to be the best that we can be, to put ourselves out there with courage, to face our fear and triumph over it. There is no top of the mountain. If I am lucky enough to win, I don't get to stop. I have to keep working. If I don't win, I have the win of showing up and being seen, but I still have to keep working. As I look at my generation, and I just spent a weekend with my grandkids, I look at telling them that they need to climb that hill. They need to be strong and powerful. Take your power, climb that hill. Thank you.
Thank you, contestant number 1, and please take a seat, which you have done. Timer, please give us 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Contestant number 2, please come to the stage. Contestant number 2, Denise Karabi. The question is, what's most important to pass on to the next generation? What's most important to pass on to the next generation? Denise Karabi.
What's important to be passed on to the next generation? Well, I thought I was just stepping into my generation, which is Gen X. And as a Gen X, we have been through so many things. We have seen sports going from playground to online games. We have gone from combustion engine to an EV. We have gone from toothbrush to an automatic one which does the job for you. We have gone through a lot. We have gone from radio to TV to flat screen. We have seen so many things. But with the new thing that's coming along, the AI, which scares the hell out of everyone, is my job going to be safe? But here's what I want to tell others. You, as Gen Xer, bring a lot of wisdom. You have seen this whole transformation across various decades. And you're seeing the ups and downs of the life. Everything brings a new challenge. Everything has a new beginning and a new end. But this transformation is something that is constant. Like I said, change is the only constant in life. But what we are going to pass on, the most important thing to the new generation, is the wisdom that we have gained so far across all these decades of experience. And this decade of experience is going to help the new generation be ready, be prepared for the challenges and the opportunities that are going to be brought about by the AI. there's no other thing that I would say that the wisdom is the most important thing that any generation can pass on from them to the others. And in these challenging times, I think that would be the most beneficial gift apart from your maybe your trust or your real estate or your money. Thank you.
Thank you, contestant number 2. Please return your mic and then come back to the main room. Timers, may we have 1 minute of silence, please? Contestant number 3, please come to the stage. Contestant number 3, Sonia Batia. What's most important to pass along to the next generation? What's most important to pass along to the next generation? Sonia Batia.
I believe the most important thing to pass along to the next generation is human connection. In this time of AI and technology, myself, and I'm sure you all, see how people are getting siloed into groups, how they're not connecting anymore, and how loneliness has become a pandemic. It is important for the next generation to understand that human connection is like panacea. It's a healer of all the difficulties. It's a medicine for all of us. Staying in front of our screens day after day, just text messaging each other, not calling them, is something that we are losing. And I believe that this is a very important time when we all think about the next generation and how we get everyone together as a community, as human beings. Maybe have a little bit of a party. Have everybody come in with everyone invited, no tickets at all. Come in, have fun, talk to each other. The only ticket being human connection. By the end of it, ask everyone, how many human connections did you form? How many smiles did you bring on those faces? That would be the biggest ticket of all. So for the next generation, the most important thing is in fact human connection, humanness, and human touch. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, contestant number 3. Timer, will you please indicate 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots? Contestant number 4, please come to the stage. Contestant number 4, Chris Lele. The question is, what's most important to pass on to the next generation? And if you take a step back, you can also take a look at it, which is required by the rules. What's most important to pass along to the next generation? Contestant number 4, Chris Lele.
So my wife and I were in Italy, in Rio Maggiano, this beautiful, spectacular city that looks like exactly out of a postcard with these hills coming up from the beautiful sea. And there was our Airbnb somewhere. We looked at the map, and there it was at the very top. No problem, right? Well, my wife and I are basically a bunch of winos. And when we were in Italy, we, let's say, accumulated a couple of cases of wine. And I also had a heavy backpack. And yes, wife, I'll totally take your back from you as well. So next thing I know, we are trudging up these steep cobblestone roads. Angry old Italian women throwing buckets of water down at us. So we try to walk. And meanwhile, I'd say my wife was relatively fluttering up the hill, taking photos on her high-end Nikon, while I trudged with each case of wine. I looked, and we weren't even a third of the way there. But eventually, we got close to our Airbnb, and my legs weren't really able to make it, but my wife, she was happy. She was in Rio Maggiano, a beautiful Italian city. And it didn't matter how much my legs hurt when I saw how happy she was and how her face lit up when we got to that Airbnb finally and how she ordered 2 glasses of Prosecco for us. I knew that I had found the perfect person. And so for future generations, it might not always be easy with your significant other, but those moments are still worth it. Treasure them. They aren't going to always be there, but when you find that right person, you'll know it, even if that means carrying 2 cases of wine up a precipitous mountain. Thank you.
Thank you, contestant number 4. We'll ask that you go to the side to return your mic and then come back to the main room. We will ask the timers now to wait until all of the ballots have been collected. So judges, please mark your ballots and the ballot counters will collect them. Hans, our chief judge, will signal once all the ballots have been collected. Once the ballots are collected, the chief judge and the ballot counters will leave and tally the votes in another room, and I will interview the contestants. Audience, you have been wonderful. Thank you so very much for the warm applause that you gave each contestant as they came up here. I'm sure it's greatly appreciated. And in just a moment, we will call 3 of our contestants up here. We will not call Chris Lele because he is participating in the next contest, and if we were to interview him, it could color the judges. So we will be interviewing the first 3 contestants, and because there are only 3, we will ask that they give elaborate answers to our questions. Although I do have a number of questions to ask. Let us please welcome to the stage contestant number 1, Julie St. Germain, representing Division D. Julie is a proud member of Watergate Toastmasters number 1239. Next is contestant number 2, Danish Karabi. He represents Danish represents Division A and is a member of Star Search Toastmasters number 5067. Finally, contestant number 3, Sonia Batia, representing Division E. Sonia is a member of Danville Toastmasters Division or number 1785. Now, since they don't have mics on, we may have to ask them to project. Let's try that first. If not, we'll do a little switcheroo by the mic here. So the first question, and whoever would like to answer it, let's start with Julie. First question is, as you go through life, there are many forks in the road. What is one fork you took that turned out well?
Well, well, well. To look at me, you wouldn't see a police officer. And yet I was an Oakland police officer. Not long. I worked in the Oakland City Jail for 6 months. And it was incredible because what I learned was that I am so privileged. You know, I like to see myself as a bootstrap kind of gal. When I went to college, I paid my way through working in a tomato cannery. When I was in college itself, I worked in cafeterias. I washed dishes, I did janitorial work, food prep, you name it, I did it. And yet, when I worked in that Oakland City Jail, I saw a beautiful young 12-year-old woman named Angel, I won't give her last name, who was a prostitute. I saw a woman in for felony child abuse who none of the other jailers would search because they hated her for it. And I searched her. And I looked at her and she was poor and her clothes were terrible. Her teeth were bad. She actually was disabled. She was uneducated, and I looked at her and I thought, who loved this woman? Who told her when she was a kid that she was great and that she could be anything she worked for? And my guess is nobody. And I'm a grandmother. I hate the idea of a kid being abused, but I had compassion for that woman. And I had compassion for mothers who were hookers, and the only way they could put food on the table was to do what they did. So I am enormously grateful for my parents who are educated, who are civically active, who encouraged me to be the best I can be, and who believed in me. So how's that for a graduate? That's it. Thank you.
we're going to give you an option. You may answer that question, or you may choose the next question. It is up to you. The question you've heard, or an unknown question.
I'm an executive officer with another question.
Next question, okay. Denise, what is your secret sauce?
The secret sauce.
And
Well,
please
I'm not
project.
trying any, but secret sauce is overthinking. I think a lot. Even when I'm sitting here, even when I'm standing here, there are 1,000 thoughts that come across my mind. Even when I'm lying in bed or thinking about it, there's always chain of thoughts going around. This mind is a very evil or a good thing, depending on what you're thinking. But like I said, worries is what keeps this brain busy and always tries to be fighting in survival mode. What's going to be the next? How am I going to do certain things in life? What am I going to do tomorrow? So there are a lot of things that goes along planning your day, your life as a whole. And that is the secret sauce. Sometimes it may work for you, sometimes it can be a killer because it stresses you out if you think about it. That's why you need to come to the podium like Toastmasters and put all your thoughts on people like you. So I can absorb my thoughts and my wisdom. And if you agree with me, then maybe we have a connection made already. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. What do you think? Should we give Sonia the option to answer either question or a new question number 3? Sonia, what's your choice? All right. Well, this is a softball one. What is one Toastmaster goal you're still working towards?
Quite honestly, table topics is something that I haven't been able to get to till this stage, which is huge. But I do still struggle with speeches, longer speeches. Today I was part of a workshop where the main person mentioned Jagdish Sally. They mentioned that a speech is really the start, the middle, and the end. But the middle is more like 3 table topics. And that's the reason why it's harder. Because here I'm just answering one single table topic. But there, within a speech, I'm answering 3 table topics. So clearly that's more hard. And that's going to be my next goal, that I'll be able to give more speeches and I'll get better at answering 3 table topics in one go with a start and an end. Thank you.
Thank you. They're answering the questions so beautifully. I want to make sure that everyone can hear. Can everyone hear them?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. And thank you for being so quiet and listening so attentively. Well, I think we need to go to our next question then. Question number 4 for Julie. Tell us about a blunder that seemed terrible at the time, but in hindsight wasn't so bad.
OMG. There is a plethora of blunders, a bundle of blunders. It is really hard to pick one out. Which one can I get by with and not get arrested? Back in the olden days when I was younger, I worked at the Renaissance Pleasure Fair. And I was a washerwoman who was famous for their mouth and their wide humor and all of that stuff. And in the historical accuracy of the times, I wore long skirts, I wore a bodice, I wore a shade under it, And I didn't wear any undergarments. Because they didn't do that back then. So I would get involved in improvisation combat. So I had a guy come up to me who I knew, who I trusted, was a good person. And he and I, did some repartee and yelled at each other and gesticulated and had a good time. I bent over the washing well, and suddenly this extremely strong man picked me up by my feet and held me in the air. Do I need to mention that I was slimmer back then? Anyway, so I will not describe graphically what it hurt, but I think you get the picture of this, so I'm sorry for that. I flipped back right side up. He flipped me as soon as he saw what had happened. And during notes that day, I was like burning with embarrassment all day long. And I said, it happened so fast, right? I mean, he flipped me over, he flipped me back, and it was okay, right? I mean, no one really. And my assistant director said, if you hadn't been so white, so incredibly white, it was like 2 moons. So now that was a big deal at the time. Yet here I am. How many years later? Oh, about 40 years later. No, more like 43 years later. Laughing about that story and saying, no big deal. It's in the past. And pictures are on set now.
Thank you very much, Julie. That may have had a TMI moment, but we will remember that. And when we bring back the humorous speech contest, I would hope you would compete.
Who do I have to pay to scrub that off the
Denise, what is your favorite holiday and how do you celebrate it?
I was playing the tabletop game with my daughter just last night. And the same exact question was one of the tabletop questions. I believe she was rehearing this. And I gave the answer to her. My favorite festival on vacation would be Diwali festival in our culture. And she asked me, why then? Why not Halloween? Why not Christmas? And I said, because there are a lot of memories goes along with that festival. It tells me the family moments that are shared. It brings out all the nice food items that you get to eat, both spicy as well as sweets. You get to light firecrackers and make disturbance noise to your neighbors who have been encouraging you to do things which you did not want to do in the first place. And those are the memories you cherish even till today. Because now at this age, I know what a nuisance I was. And now I can understand what they must be thinking, what I was doing back then when I was at a very young age. But those memories, they still cherish, and maybe those are the reasons why they still remember me, what kind of nuisance I was when I was a kid. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Sonia, you're at the district level. How does it feel?
Exciting and nervous at the same time. There's so many people here, so many eyes looking at me. Again, very exciting. I feel like a little bit of a star, a bit of a celebrity. And I have just met so many people here. I have attended one workshop. I listened to the keynote speaker, and it just completely blew my mind off. And this is a little bit of a nice moment that I get exactly what I just saw. So it makes me feel really nice, and it makes me feel blessed as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Julie, what brought you to Toastmasters?
What brought me to Toastmasters? It was simple. I retired. I was a corporate safety professional. I had the kind of job where you get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's like, hey, get to jump in your car. We need you to go in here when someone got hurt. We need to investigate an accident. So I had those kinds of phone calls. I had, hey, it's storm time. We've got 12-hour shifts lined up for you for the next 5 days. So a lot of my friends were connected with work. And suddenly I wasn't at work anymore. And I felt total honesty. I felt lost. I felt a little lonely. And I saw an ad on Craigslist for Toastmasters. And I thought, why are you drinking? What? No, I didn't. I knew what Toastmasters was. So I thought, you know, public speaking is something that I've done before, and I really like it. So I'm going to show up, and I hope I can make some friends. And I'm putting myself out there. If someone's in the East Bay and you want to do a movie or a dinner or whatever, give me a call. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Julie. Denise, do you have a trophy case at home for all your Toastmaster awards?
No, I don't. Recently, it's been 5 years I've been a member of Toastmasters with the Star Search. And when you asked the question earlier, Julie, who do you credit for embarrassing to the Toastmasters? I'm still looking for the culprit who brought me to Toastmasters. He's not here with me, but I don't blame him because I love being here. I like being part of my club, and I love what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we have a question for the audience. Our chief judge is back. We could give them the awards, or we could ask Sonia one more question so we don't cheat her. All right. Sonia, what was your greatest fear in coming here today?
My greatest fear was freezing up when I come to the stage. And it was kind of funny because when I came in early in the morning and I sat by the table, there was one very nice gentleman I was talking to, and they mentioned about freezing up, just what I was thinking. And I spoke to a second person and they spoke about freezing. And I was like, I was just thinking about that. So that was on my mind, and that was my biggest fear, and thank God I did not freeze up. So I am glad everything ended well, so I'm happy. Thank you.
All right. We will invite Chris up here and we'll give out our certificate of participation. And let's have one more round of applause. I think they did exceptional. So Julie, here you are with pride. Denise, here you are. Congratulations. Sonia, here you are. Congratulations. And Chris, I'm so sorry you missed out, but you will get your chance later. Thank you very much. We will now take a 10-minute break and come back for the international speech contest. Are you ready? Yeah.
We have some great speakers today. But how about those table topics, folks? Wow. You know, when we started out this contest season, we had people in the interviews after their club and area contest. Well, how long have you been a Toastmaster? 2 months? 1 month? Can you imagine being on a competition stage when you're just starting out as a Toastmaster? What a different perspective. But since there are no education requirements, we had people of all Toastmaster ranges competing, and it was just a beautiful thing. I did not introduce our international directors, our past international directors. May I ask Mike Notaro, Greg Scott, and I believe Mike Osier, right? You're in the audience, yes. Now, you may think running a club is a problem. You're running a district, but when you're running the international, working at that level, there is just, I mean, it's just probably a very exciting job, but talk about challenging. And yet here they are, helping us out again. Did you want to say? Yeah, I just did, but do you want to give some words? Yeah. I'm going to bring back the one that's going to lay down the rules for us. She's tougher than me.
Fellow Toastmasters, what can I say? I'm a Toastmaster. I was in the back of the room yakking, okay? Yakking if you didn't hear me. All right. The 2026 District 57 International Speech Contest is hereby called to order. I don't know if I'm repeating because I wasn't listening, so here we go. This is my script. You may have used your mobile phones and devices during the break. Please reset them so that rings and alarms will not disturb the contest. As a reminder, you may not enter or leave the room during a contest speech to prevent distracting the speaker. I will be at the door watching. Please wait for the Sergeant at Arms to allow passage. Please help me welcome the contest chair. Give it up for Kate Mills. I'm sorry I don't know who the Toastmaster is, so you're stuck with it, Kate.
And there, we passed control back. I want to tell you, our Toastmaster for the International, if you've ever been in a room with her, she brings energy, she brings spark. You know she's a Toastmaster, and she is the one that's going to make everything come together. The people are going to come together like glue. And I think that's why her people in the Ukiah Toastmasters recognize that she came, I believe you've been there 28 years? 28 years. Took every officer job in the book, but then not the treasurer. Now, I'm not going to let on to people in this room what job Toastmaster Club Officer I have not taken, because it's election season, Club Officer elections, and I'm not going there. But I'm inspired by this avid baseball fan. Too bad Steve today isn't still here, huh? So we have Terry Boudreau. Would you say that Toastmasters is your thing? Yeah. I mean, 28 years at Ukiah Toastmasters, that's phenomenal. But you bring the energy every single time. Every meeting, no matter where she's a Toastmaster, she's there. So please help me welcome Terry Boudreau.
Thank you, everyone. As I get dressed back here, I will just say that, yes, for those of you that are wondering, been a Toastmaster 28 years. Yes, I started when I was 8. And if you believe that, I've got plenty of other things to tell you. Also, thank you, Kate, and she mentioned that the job as treasurer was the only thing that I haven't done. I did get elected to that, and I am that right now for my club. They decided that I'd been there long enough that they trusted me with all of our millions of dollars that the club had. So thank you again, Kate. I do want to introduce our chief judge again to go over some of the summary of the rules, since the rules are a little bit different for the International Speech Contest. So please help me welcome Hans Thoma. I left him at this one.
Well, last but not least, the speech contest, and it is being conducted in accordance with the what? Rule book. And of course, that also means that contestants, contest functionaries, and judges have been what? So if they're briefed, that means they are. Imagine that. Funny how that works. They're eligible and they're ready to rock. Also, since this is a speech contest, each contestant selects their own topic. Some of this content may be personal in nature and contain language, ideas, or beliefs that some audiences may consider sensitive. Just keep that in mind. One rule that we have here is that at least 75% of the contestants' material must be original. The other, if they do cite other sources, it must not take more than 25% of their speech. Qualified judges will be applying the criteria supplied by Toastmasters International in the ballot and will be selecting their choices for first, second, and third. The ballot counters will pick up the ballots and we will tally the results. I, the chief judge, have also appointed a tiebreaker judge in case there's a tie. For the speech contest, we will signal green for 5 minutes, yellow for 6 minutes, and red for 7 minutes. This time will be recorded and given to the chief judge to determine if anyone should be disqualified. The minimum for a speech is 4.5 minutes. The maximum is 7.5. Finally, the same contest rules, functions, and criteria are applicable to all contests throughout the Toastmasters global community. And that's why it's important that we follow them to ensure that we are upholding the same standards. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, sir.
In this contest, we will hear an original speech from each contestant. Just as Hans mentioned, there will be 1 minute of silence for each contestant for the judges to mark their ballots. After the final contestant, I will ask for silence until the judges are finished ranking the contestants and the counters have collected the ballots. Unlike the table topics contest, the international speech contestants can stay in this main room. I will call each in turn in the speaking order by contestant number, name. I'll ask them to please take the stage, and then I will introduce them with their speech title. To eliminate any perception of bias, I will introduce each contestant in the same way. Contestant number, name, speech title, and their name. The speaking order has been drawn this morning before the contest, and I will announce the order now. Make sure judges, ballot counters, timers, everyone has this speaking order on your forms. Also, same as in the last contest, you do have the form on your, provided the form similar to the ones the judges will be scoring, just to use it as educational purposes. So next time, you too can be a judge. Here are the 5 contestants for the District 57 International Speech Contest. Contestant number 1, Derek Ho. Contestant number 1, Derek Ho. Contestant number 2 will be Chris Lele. Contestant number 2 is Chris Lele. Contestant number 3 will be Lucy Chen. Contestant number 3 is Lucy Chen. Contestant number 4 is Niharika Suravarjala. Contestant number 4 is Niharika Suravarjala. And contestant number 5 is Giancarlo Campagna. Contestant number 5, Giancarlo Campagna. Does everyone have the speaking order? Anyone need that repeated one more time? We have 5 contestants for this. We will now proceed with the International Speech Contest. Timers, are you ready? Ready to go. Contestant number 1, please come to the stage. Contestant number 1, Derek Ho, The Mountain. The Mountain, Derek Ho.
Thank you, Contest Toastmaster.
You're very welcome.
I'm a 10-year-old boy hiking up a mountain with my father and my father's friends. We are halfway up the mountain, and I can barely take another step. Fatigue has set in, my legs have turned to jelly. All I want to do is tell my father that I'm ready to quit and go back home. But he's talking with his friend. He's telling them, my son can make it all the way to the top. My jaw drops. He wants me, an out-of-shape 10-year-old boy, to make it up to the top of the mountain? Raise your hand if you've ever been held to high expectations. What does that pressure do to you? I rushed past my father and my father's friends. I needed to be the leader, leading the charge. I needed to be quicker than everyone else. I needed to be at the top of that mountain first place. Why? Because while everyone else carries the normal things like backpacks, water bottles, hiking sticks, I carried the weight of my father's expectations. Because if I failed, my father would be embarrassed, especially after all that bragging he did about me. If I failed, my father's friends would think of him as a liar. If I failed, my father would be disappointed in me. This fear of failure fuels me. I find hidden reserves of energy that propels me forward. I believe they call this the second wind. But in my case, it's more like a second puff because it only lasts 1 second. Now it's gone. Now I'm back to where I started, barely able to take another step. My father's friends pass me by one. They look back and give me this strange look that basically says, I thought you were supposed to take us to the top. What happened? I plummet to last place. I finally tell my father, that's it. I can't go anymore. I quit. My father shares this look of disappointment. While everyone else continued onward and upward, me and my father had no choice but to go back down the mountain ourselves. Ever since then, I never hiked up a mountain. Years later, I have finally reached adulthood. I'm attending college, I'm living in the dorms. Today, we are getting a new student moving into the dormitory. Her name is Samantha. And it's love at first sight. All I want to do is ask her out. But what do I say? What do I do? They say you only get one chance to make a first impression. How do I make a good one? Out of nowhere, another freshman approaches me. He says, my friend, would you like to hike up a mountain with me? Sorry, bud, no thanks. Come on, I'll be going with a group of me and my friends. It's gonna be fun. I contemplate Travis's question carefully. After failing to reach that mountaintop all those years ago, after failing to meet my father's expectations, I figure what happened back then would happen here. I would go up halfway, I would get tired, then I would quit. Why would this time be any different? The answer to Travis's question was obvious. I tell him, yes, I will hike up the mountain with you. Why? Because that new student, Samantha, is going too. Talk about motivation. We followed Travis up the mountain, but I noticed something peculiar about Travis. Instead of rushing past everybody, he's just keeping a casual pace, walking shoulder to shoulder with everyone. I hear him pointing out, hey, watch your footing over there, there's loose gravel. Watch your head, there's a low-hanging branch. It was much different than what I did all those years ago. We finally reached the halfway point, and I could barely take another step. Fatigue has set in, my legs had turned to jelly. Once again, I've plummeted to last place. That's when Travis begins to approach me, and I think to myself, oh no, this is it. This is the part where he's gonna tell me that I'm slowing down the entire group and I have to go back down the mountain by myself. The worst of all, Samantha is gonna remember me as the guy that quit. What a terrible first impression to make. Fortunately, reality is not that cruel. Travis just tells me to take a break. In fact, he tells everyone in the group to take a break. Because whenever anybody in our hiking group got tired, we would all take a break before proceeding up the mountain. It was sunset by the time the top of the mountain was within grasp. It was a steep slope made out of solid stone. One look and I could tell, if you trip, you're gonna roll down that mountain and hurt yourself. But luckily, we were all able to make it up that mountain unscathed. I am really proud of myself in this moment because I have finally reached the top of the mountain. I have finally met my father's expectations, and while it may have taken a couple years, delayed by a couple years, my father was finally right. His son can make it to the top of the mountain. I take out my cell phone to capture this moment, but I fumble. I drop it onto that steep mountain, which begins to slide, moving faster and faster. The whole group begins to chase after it, and I tell them, no, 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 don't do that, it's dangerous. But somehow, Samantha is able to catch it and bring my cell phone back to me. That's when I realized two things. One, she's a keeper. Two, now I understand why I couldn't make it up that mountain all those years ago. Back then, I tried to reach it all by myself. But in this group, I get the sense that we either make it up as a team or we go back down as a team. No one falters alone. Have you tried accomplishing something all on your own? It probably didn't work out as well as you thought. But what if you could find people, not just any people, the right people? What would it be like to have them on your team? Can you imagine yourself at that mountaintop with them together? Contest Toastmaster.
Timekeepers, may we please have 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballot. Thank you. Contestant number 2, please come to the stage. Contestant number 2, Chris Lele. Carrying my weight. Carrying my weight, Chris Lele.
Dr. Patrick.
You're welcome.
When I was younger, I used to think that growing up meant becoming self-sufficient, and that such self-sufficiency required distance. Distance from where I'd grown up, from the ones who had raised me. When I was 25, I finally got the opportunity to put this to the test by doing something I'd always longed to do. Buy a one-way ticket to Europe. That's right, leave the nest, quit my job, and somewhere along the way, maybe find myself. Luckily, I had a small fortune built up from my stocks from that company that I quit. Well, small fortune, at least for a 25-year-old. So I walked into a travel agency before this had gone the way of the dinosaurs, and I bought a one-way ticket to Paris. I could already see myself waltzing through the Louvre and opining on art I knew nothing about, or running through the streets of Pamplona with the bulls, or falling in love with a beautiful European woman who spoke 5 languages. The thing is that when I landed, before I even landed in Europe, I got a phone call from my mom. Chris, So there I was, a few weeks later in the Austrian Alps, in a Swiss chalet, seated across from my parents on my once-in-a-lifetime trip to Europe. Okay, so let me back up. Yes, that call from my mom. Before I left, she said, Chris, are you going to Europe? Like, wait, how does she even know that? I hadn't told a single person. Well, it just so happens that that travel agency I happened to wander into was the same one my parents have been using for the last 20 years. And on account of having a rather peculiar last name, Lele, the travel agent said, do you happen to have a son named Christopher? Well, he just bought a one-way ticket to Paris. And after that conversation with my mom, I said, yeah, you know what? Let's go. I'm going to make this happen because things go south. I could go south and in 2 hours be in a different country. But things fell into a wonderful routine that first week in Austria. We would travel these large castles by day, and then in the afternoon, we would go through these cute little quaint Austrian villages in search of the best apple strudel. And at night, we would sit by the fireplace, and we would drink beer. Yes, beer with my parents. I don't think I'd ever done that before. And instead of questioning my life decisions, they helped me craft my trip. When I said I went to Turkey, my mom could have easily said, oh yeah, what, get mugged in the Medina? Instead, she said, you know what? That stretch of the Aegean coastline is exquisite. And she then launched into all the relative merits of the Turkish ferry system, including which islands to stop at. It was like I suddenly had my own little Rick Steves in my back pocket. That final day that we were in the Austrian Alps together, I decided to do something also unwise, since that was kind of the summer of doing unwise things, to hike a mountain that lay on the other side of where we were staying. And it was snow-capped even in summer. And I decided to take my dad with me. He nodded, came along, promised I would carry the heavy backpack with all the water and provisions, nothing to worry about. And we started hiking, chatting that first hour, blue sky above us, yellow flowers in the Austrian Alps, like something out of The Sound of Music. and I was carried away, this buoyant energy, as my dad started to drift a little behind me, but he'd be fine. And I went higher and higher, and noticed it was getting colder. And I started shivering because, again, I'm 25, infinite wisdom, and yes, I only decided to go in a tank top. And it was getting cloudy now, and it started raining, and that rain kind of felt like ice. And that's when I noticed something. I was slowing down, but whereas my dad had been a little bob on the horizon, he was suddenly closing in, much closer. And there he was, holding in his hand a sweater. His sweater that he'd taken off his back. He handed it to me, put it on, and we started walking up a little bit. And that's when I slipped on an icy rock. I didn't hurt my ankle too bad, but tweaked it a bit. My dad picked up that backpack, put it on his own shoulders, and together, put my hand on his shoulder, and we walked back down. Exhausted and shivering, a few hours later, we arrived, my mom waiting with an apple strudel, of course. And we recounted that incident, my dad embellishing, "Oh, Christopher and I were pelted with a deluge of ice particles. You almost became snowmen." And that night was like connecting with two long-lost friends I hadn't seen after a long summer. The next day, I was off on my adventures, and boy, did I have some adventures. I won a dancing competition in a treehouse in Turkey. I also fell in love with a beautiful woman who spoke only one language, American. But it's that time in Austria, that week with my mom and my dad, that I remember the most. That mountain, fire, and my mom's surprisingly in-depth knowledge of the Turkish ferry system. A few years ago, when my dad passed away, it was this story that I talked about at his funeral. How he had literally, bobbing up that hill like a dutiful Saint Bernard, given me the sweater off of his back. And I also talked about how I had spent half of my life running away from my parents, from my dad, from my mom, and the other half actually hanging out with them as people. And it all started that week in Austria, on a trip where I was convinced that I had to set out and find myself. But I returned knowing that sometimes the heaviest things are carried for us, long before we ever ask. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's awesome.
Thank you very much. Timekeepers, may we have 1 minute of silence while the judges mark their ballots. Thank you. Contestant number 3, please join me on the stage. Contestant number 3, Lucy Chen, The Invisible Box. The Invisible Box, Lucy Chen.
A friend of mine went to a remote mountain village in Nepal teaching young girls. One day, she told those girls that her favorite sport was swimming. And those girls' eyes widened. And she asked, "What happened? Why are you so surprised?" And those girls looked at her and said, "Girls can't swim." And she laughed gently. "I can swim. You can swim too. I can teach you to swim." And those girls shook their heads and said, "No, we'll die." When she told me this story years later, I thought it's almost funny. Those girls had such a limiting belief. I was having one too. Actually, all of us do. Limiting beliefs are just like invisible boxes. We carry them every day, everywhere. We can't see them, but they quietly define the size of our world. I studied engineering, undergrad and grad schools. In my mind, STEM girls are not good at language. In 2022, after my father passed away, I began writing his stories. A friend of mine invited me to a book writing program. Book writing? You're talking about me? No way. English writing? Not my game. My friend warmly invited me again, and I joined. One day, I got stuck. Writer's block. And this teeny tiny voice inside me said, "Told you, Lucy, you're not good at this. You're just a STEM girl. English is not your first language. You can't write a book." I felt defeated. So I called my book coach. He listened patiently and said something very profound. "Lucy, I've seen many writers who doubted themselves, including foreign students, just like you. English is not the first language. They published books. If they can, you can too." Those words broke walls. I continued. 4 months later, I received the green light from my publisher. A year later, my book got published. Another year later, it won 5 book awards. My success was not because I suddenly became more talented. That's because someone else helped me step outside of my box. Life gave me another box. Limiting belief. I joined Taekwondo when I was 48. 48? Too old, too weak, I thought. Front kick, oh, I wobbled. And side kick, oh, I felt dizzy. And spin kick, I fell. One day, this little girl in the same class asked me, "Lucy, how old are you?" I smiled. "You guess." "Are you 80? My grandma is 80. Ha ha. Inside me, this voice said, "Told you, you're not good at this. Even this little girl, 6-year-old, could tell. You better quit." But my Taekwondo master pulled me aside. He said, Lucy, keep on kicking and punching, and you will earn your black belt. Black belt? You're talking about me? Black belt? I didn't stop. Well, even some days I wanted to stop. He's watching me, but with a smile. Day after day, month after month, year after year, I started from a white belt, yellow, orange, and in August 2024, I earned my black belt! Woohoo! Once again, my success and achievement was not because suddenly I became the strongest in the room. That's because someone else believed in me before I believed in myself. So, dear friends, today I'd like to ask you, what kind of invisible box holds you back? It's your age, your gender, your accent, your background? Step out of your box. It takes courage. And be the person for someone else. Remember my friend who encouraged those Nepali girls to swim? And remember my book coach and Taekwondo master who believed in me? Encouragement is power. It changed my life. Now, it's your turn. Break out of the box and help someone else break free. Thank you.
Timekeepers, may we have 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballot, please? Thank you. Contestant number 4, please come to the stage. Contestant number 4, Niharika Suravarjala. Jump in. Jump in. Niharika Suravarjala.
The water consumed the last of my body. I felt myself grasping for air as the water swirled around me, and the amount of energy I could use on trying to pry my body free from the strong current was decreasing at a rapid rate. I felt myself sinking lower and lower and lower into the American River. Pitch blackness, a death-defying moment, and there was only one thought on my mind. Dang it, my dad said Chipotle on him tonight. But more importantly, how did I get myself into this mess? It was the summer of 2017, and my parents had decided it was time for a family bonding trip of a lifetime to the American River. Their instructions were clear. Kids, pack yourselves and your things and get in the car. We need this vacation. Okay, Mom and Dad, and that's exactly what we did. I made sure to pack all our belongings, especially bug spray. Did I mention I hate bugs? And we got in the car to begin our drive to the river. The 2-hour drive to the American River was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. Also, because it was 2 of the most excruciating hours of my life. Sitting next to my little brother singing, Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, as he played Pokemon Go, and my sister asking every 10 seconds, does my hair look good in this lighting? No, does it look better in this lighting? Was insufferable. You better believe when we arrived at the river, I was the first one to open the van door, jump out of the car to take in the view of mostly dead grass and brown hills. Mom and Dad, we have this back at home. Where are we? But that's when I heard it, the roar of the river. And I went to the nearest overlook to take in the American River. It was beautiful, extending for miles and miles on either side and full of these roaring rapids. But before I could take in the breathtaking view for a second longer, a spider decided to join me on the ledge. Did I mention I hate bugs? I quickly did what any sane person would do, and I grabbed the bottle of bug spray and started spraying that spider. All sides. Bam! Bam! One more for good measure. Bam! The spider was gone. And so was my family's entire supply of bug spray we bought for this trip. I had to go hide the evidence, and as I ran to hide the bottle, I tripped and fell in the pool of bug spray I had just got onto the ground. When I tried to get up, instead of seeing a normal-looking ankle, I saw some weird tomato-like bulging thing, and when I tried to put weight on it, my suspicion was confirmed. It was a sprain. I hobbled back over to the campsite to break the news to my parents when I saw my dad doing a silly little dance. Woohoo! Woohoo! Dad, I know we're in the wilderness, but please stop doing that. Someone could still see you. No, kids, nothing can stop me today because we're going whitewater rafting. Woohoo! Woohoo! But, Dad, whitewater rafting, I have a sprained ankle. There's no way I can go. And that's when my dad said a few words to me that changed the course of this trip forever. Niharika, this trip is non-refundable. I knew my dad, and I knew what those words meant. So I hobbled back over to the riverbed with the rest of my family to join our tour guide for our whitewater rafting experience. As we started our journey along the river, the silly dance my dad was doing earlier started to make a lot more sense. Right, left, we were flowing and rowing with the rhythm of the river until the tour guide stopped us at a bend and offered us the opportunity of a lifetime. He said, family, at the American River, we give you the chance to swim a rapid. Swim a what now? I looked back in the raft and didn't see any crazies in this boat. There was no way we were going to do that, especially with my sprained ankle. That's when I felt a few taps on my shoulder. It was my parents and siblings giving me thumbs up and smiles and encouraging me to jump in. Were they going to actually make me do this? There's no way I could. Just as I was about to tell my extremely valid reason of why I couldn't jump to the tour guide said a few words to me that changed the course of my life forever. Don't think twice. Jump in. For a second, I could swear the roars of the river got a little quieter, and the water seemed almost inviting. I decided to do the unthinkable. Without thinking twice, I jumped in. I felt myself sinking lower and lower and lower into the American River. The water was swirling all around me. The amount of energy I could use on trying to pry my body free from the strong current was decreasing at a rapid rate, until I felt a warm arm come over my shoulder and pull me closer to the raft, then into the boat. I was safe, and there was my family. Ladies and gentlemen, life is a lot like this trip to the American River. Hopefully a lot less spider murders, swollen ankles, and death-defying jumps into freezing cold water, but a lot of making decisions. We're forced to make important decisions every day. Should I jump into this water? Should I talk to my boss about that promotion? Should I approach that person at the gym I've always wanted to be friends with? And I'm not saying you have to make decision A or decision B. I'm saying make a decision, because any experience is better than none at all. That day, it was my sprained ankle that was holding me back, the roars of the river that were scaring me away. And it could be something like that for each and every one of us. What's holding you back? Is it a hidden fear, a trauma, maybe just laziness? Don't let it hold you back. Today, I'm here to share with you what the tour guide shared with me that day. Don't think twice. Jump in. Back to you, Contest Toastmaster.
Timekeepers, may we have 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots, please? Thank you. Contestant number 5, please come to the stage.
Thank you, Contest Toastmaster.
Contestant number 5, Giancarlo Campagna, the nudge. The nudge, Giancarlo Campagna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was in my mid-30s, living in a sublet illegally. My meager belongings were some clothing, a few books, a computer, a cell phone. My diet consisted of burritos, beer, wine, cannabis. All I wanted was to be left alone. There was nothing for me to get up for in the morning. I was filled with self-pity, anger, depression, dread. I needed something, but like a nudge. One night, my best friend and favorite high school teacher calls. His name is Jim. Giancarlo, you still in that acting class? Yeah, I go once in a while. Well, I have a monologue for you. It's the apology speech from the trial of the Kingsville Nine by Daniel Berrigan. It's based on true events. You'd be great at it. Oh, okay, but I'm coming by. Click. A few minutes later, Jim thrusts the play into my hands. He takes a quick look around my apartment, sees the dishes, the scattered papers, my bong, and leaves. Now, I read the play. I reviewed the monologue. It was fascinating. In 1968, 9 men and women went into a military draft office in Catonsville, Maryland, and took from the filing cabinets almost 400 files and burned them in the parking lot outside the office. Then stood in a circle praying until they were arrested. Now that took conviction, and I wanted some of that. But I looked around my apartment, and the doubt set in. I'm not like those 9. I couldn't do it. I tossed the play onto the kitchen counter, and I went about doing what I usually did, which was nothing, except for getting high, feeling sorry for myself. I had no conviction. I told Jim I wasn't going to do it. About a month later, I get a nudge from Jim. Giancarlo, great news! Father Louis is retiring. I want you to help me put on a retirement event for him. Here's what we're going to do. A dramatic reading of the trial of the Catonsville Nine. You'll do Berrigan. What do you say? I'll be in it too. Jim, I'm not sure. I don't know those other cast members, and I'm certainly no activist. Have you eaten yet? No. I'm coming to get you. It's on me. Click. Why couldn't he see that I didn't want to do it? I couldn't do it. Over dinner, I felt the nudge. And though I was reluctant, I agreed to help Jim with the play. At our first rehearsal, we went around introducing ourselves. Now, all the others had been arrested with Father Louis for some action or another. Anti-war, pro-immigrant, homeless advocacy. These were people who worked in the community and they stood for something. Me? I said, I'm an actor. I know Jim. We performed to about 300 people, mostly gray-haired activists. When it was my turn to be cued for my monologue, I get another nudge from Jim. You're on. Well, walking down center stage, my heart thumping in my chest, I launched into the speech. Our apologies, good friends, for the fracture of good order, for the burning of paper instead of children. And then it hit me. There's a fracture of good order happening right here inside me. About a week later, Jim and I met with Father Louis, and to my astonishment, they asked me to be the interim director of a homeless day shelter they ran out of a church. I hesitated, and I took the position. On my first day at the shelter, I met all types of people. They were cold, hungry, tired, addled in some way, either going up or coming down from a fix. They were lonely, lost. One morning, a gentleman gets my attention, and he is dancing a little jig. He stops right in front of me. He looks right at me and says, "Got any socks?" I went and got him some socks and handed them to him. He says, "Thank you, brother." He continues with his jig. Now that man had conviction. And in that moment, I felt compassion, peace, and security. And I thought of Jim. And I realized that conviction had finally found me. And all it had taken was a little nudge, and the courage to accept it. Where in your life does conviction show up? Who is nudging you towards something greater? How would your life be different? Go ahead. Do it. Accept the nudge. Contest Toastmaster.
Please remain silent as the judges will have all time necessary to complete their ballots. Okay, once all the ballots have been collected, the chief judge and the ballot counters will leave the room to tally the votes. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause, too. All right, now, if y'all aren't inspired after all of those speeches, 5 speeches, I don't even know what to tell you. That was amazing. Let's please give a round of applause for our 5 contestants. I'm so glad I'm doing this and not judging. So thank you all, and thank you the contestants. I think everyone that's been a Toastmaster knows the amount of work that it takes to come up with a speech, to practice and practice and practice and compete all the way to get to this level. So already they have done a tremendous job. Very thankful to have heard all of those speeches today. And now we're going to get to learn a little bit more about our contestants. We'll do an interview. We'll start by just one at a time coming up, and we'll go in the order that they spoke. We'll stay on the stage, and then we'll also do some questions that'll be the same for each person. So we're going to start with Derek. Derek Ho, please. Okay, Derek. Derek is from Division A, CBC Toastmasters, correct? Oh, go ahead and you can just hold it up, yeah. And then we'll pass that to each one as they come up as well. So, Derek, first of all, what do you like most about your Toastmasters Club?
I would say creativity. Every time I go there, I don't know what to expect. People just talk about totally different things. Some people are teachers, some people are showing up on TV, and some people like me just talk about TV all the time. It's so different.
How long have you been a Toastmaster?
There, I would say about 14 years.
14, really? Okay,
Maybe it was
excellent.
12. Can't remember.
Lose track of time. I understand that completely. Well, where is CBC Toastmasters then? Next stands for Citizens for Better Communicators, correct?
Yep,
CBC.
Citizens for Better Communicator. No one remembers the long names, that's why we just say CBC.
I come from a health background, so when I saw CBC and I'm like, are they lab techs? Because that's what I was thinking.
That's how you join the club.
You have to take your blood, huh? Run a CBC lab for you. So, where is that located? Where's the?
It's in Fremont.
Oh,
It's in
okay.
a building called Us Together Center.
Okay. Is it completely in person? Are y'all hybrid? Or?
It's in person.
Okay, excellent. Well, you mentioned TV.
Right.
So I'm looking at the profile. All the contestants fill out their profile sheets. Big Bang Theory, huh? Is that your favorite of all time?
Yeah, right now it's the funniest TV show that I can remember. So many jokes, especially the nerdy jokes, smart jokes. Love it all.
Now they're doing a prequel, aren't they? Or they're doing a new Big Bang Theory, correct?
Let's see. I think they have 3 of them. There's Big Bang, there's Young Sheldon, and there's one that I can't remember.
That's a brand new one. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no. There's actually a 4th one called Georgie and Manny's First Marriage. So, yeah, that Big Bang was one thing. Now it's that many things.
And I will have to admit, I've never watched a full episode.
Okay.
Ever, sorry. But it sounds like I'm really missing something, so I'll have to give that a try. Your favorite quote, short and sweet, Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
What does that feel like for you, or why did you choose that?
Well, I was competing, I was like feeling really stressed out, thinking too many things, but then I remember, don't worry, Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Whatever happens, it happens.
I want to talk about your speech a little bit. So I'm assuming that this was real life situations, things that happened. What really hit me, and it was a beautiful message. It was very inspiring, but just your father's expectations and the fear of failure. And I don't think I'm taking a big leap that a lot of people, myself included, feel that way growing up, especially.
Yeah.
So how have you gotten over that, besides just climbing those mountains? where do you feel as far as your fear of failure?
Fear of failure. I think that fear is always going to be there as long as it doesn't control your life. As long as it's not like, I'm too scared, I'm not even going to try it. No. Allow the fear to be there because it's good for you. It's there to warn you about certain things. It helps you think in terms of, oh, this bad thing could happen. But you also have the opportunity to think, oh, I can make a strategy to get around that problem. It helps you get out of danger.
Nice. I love that. And one more question. Are you still with Samantha?
I'm glad there's interest in a sequel to my story,
There we go.
but it will take time for me to formulate another story that I can compare.
Okay, I'll just have to tune in for the next episode. All right. Well, thank you so much, Derek.
Thank you.
Go ahead and, Derek, go ahead and stay up here. We're going to have everybody come up at once, but you can stay, and then you can hand that off to our next person. So Chris Lele. All right, Chris.
Okay.
Here you go. Nice. Good job. Chris, you come to us from Walnut Creek Toastmasters.
That is correct.
How long have you been at Walnut Creek Toastmasters?
It's been about 3 years now.
So were you in another club, or it's 3 years since you've been Toastmaster?
3 years since I've been a Toastmaster.
Wow, congratulations very much. So what keeps you as a member there at Walnut Creek?
Yeah, you know, it's the social element there, the vibe, the warmth that this club has. And I consider many of the people, a few who are sitting right there, my
Your fan club?
love chatting with them, just checking in. But then there's also these new members who come in, and it's great to be able to give back to them as well, and provide guidance and see them grow.
I totally get that too. The amount of time I've been in my club, it's not necessarily about me at this point, but it's about seeing the growth that happens around. So that's beautiful. I am also looking at your contestant profile. Your notable accomplishments. I have to find out, you are a former test prep instructor whose lessons reached millions.
That is true.
What type of test do you prep?
Yeah, so I worked with a company called Magoosh back in like the 2010s to like the 2020s, early 2020s or so. And I taught SAT, GRE, GMAT, kind of a heavy hitter test, ACT as well. So that was my lane.
Wow.
And I had a YouTube channel called Vocabulary Wednesdays. So if you're ever super bored and you're like, I want to learn lots of big useless words, Vocabulary Wednesdays waiting.
Very cool. So you're not doing that anymore, doing the test prep?
I do tutor. I still do private tutoring on my own, so kind of in the background. But now I have a few other lanes I'm driving.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you're also published author, pianist, composer.
Correct.
Very well-rounded. I like that. Okay, so your quote, which I love, we tell ourselves stories in order to live. Tell us a little bit about that, why you chose it.
Yeah, that was a quote that, you know, I've known for years, and I think originally its meaning was very rooted in the Toastmasters tradition about telling stories. We need that. We were a species seated around campfires of millennia ago, and stories sustained us, and I love that. But as I've grown older, I realize there's another element to that. So it's tinged with a little bit of darkness, maybe. The idea that we need these stories to get through the tough parts in life. And we sometimes make up stories just to make it through. I think that's why I chose as my favorite, because it can cut both ways.
Very deep. I like that. Well, and thinking about not only your speech that you gave in the contest, but also your table topics in that contest as well, I get the feeling that you also like to travel.
That is true. I think both of my speeches are very travel-centric, and my wife is out in the audience, and I think she can watch my...
I want to see, wave. There you are, making him carry all that wine. Did y'all hike the Cinque Terre while y'all were there?
Yes, we hiked on Cinque Terre, but most of the times we end up taking that little train that went through to make it a little bit easier. So.
Especially if you're carrying that much wine. So besides Italy, the Cinque Terre area, and in Paris and in Austria, where else have you traveled?
Been to a lot of countries, I think kind of around the 50 mark. So
Oh my gosh.
there's quite a few, but lots of places, even Africa, which I think many people never get to. But my wife and I spent our honeymoon in Africa.
Where in Africa?
We went to Morocco and Senegal.
Oh, wow. Wow. I only changed planes in Senegal on the way to South Africa, so.
Oh, so you've been to Africa too?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, it's beautiful. Well, any trips coming up? Where have you not been, the two of you have not been, and maybe your wife will speak up on this one as well.
We just took a major trip to Italy, again, not the Rio Maggiore one. And so I think it's going to be a while, though my son keeps talking about Japan, and it seems like everybody's talking about Japan
Yeah.
these days. So if we go anywhere anytime soon, probably Japan.
I've heard wonderful things too. I've never been to Japan, so anybody in the audience been to Japan that can give them some tips? Look, you've got lots of people. I see Diane back there too. So good. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much for your speech, and thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. So stay up here, Lucy. So our next speaker, Lucy Chen. Please come on up, Lucy. Thank you again. There's the microphone. All right, Lucy, you were at El Cerrito Toastmasters.
Exactly.
How long have you been there?
I've been there for 5 years.
Okay.
However, that's not my first club.
Okay, that was my next question. Where else have you been at Toastmasters?
Stagecoach Speakers in San Francisco.
Okay.
So it's part of Wells Fargo's corporate clubs. And I joined them 17 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm now still part of it.
Okay.
During the COVID, remember everything that changed to be online, and I changed my job. I got kicked out of the club, of course, because it was a corporate club. Now, because they lost a lot of members, so they invited me back. They changed their bylaws and say, we need you, because I was one of the kind of like a founding members there. And then they invited me back so that the club really needed my help. And now I belong to both clubs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about either of those clubs? I mean, since you're both a member of, is there something about each of them that makes it unique that you want to continue with them?
Of course. Wells Fargo, of course, it was in my heart. I spent almost 16 years working over there, and I invested a lot of time and energy, and I have a really deep root. A lot of my friends are there. And of course, they watched my awkward moments, right? From the very beginning, which each of the speech, I spent 8 hours. For 7 minutes of the speech, you understand what I'm talking about. So a lot of embarrassing moments. So switch gears, the second one, El Cerrito, I live over there. And also that's the club that I really enjoy, and because a lot of mentors there. There are a lot of mentors, and they coach me, right? Free of charge, right? Even my speech here, they invested their time. And even this morning, I got a text and saying, hey, good luck and best wishes. It's like, that really warmed my heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I could tell from your speech that it does take a mentor, it takes someone to give you that inspiration. And again, just like I asked them, I am assuming that this was a personal experience that you spoke about too. Very, very, very inspiring for me as well. I loved the idea of the invisible box and then just the breaking through of that. And I even wrote down, the invisible box silently defines the size of our world. There we go. And so just breaking through that. I mean, I think we've heard time and time again, step out of your box, but I think that even just putting the term invisible, because that's basically what it is. It's no one else can see what is holding you back.
And even yourself sometimes are not aware of it, right? It's just subconsciously that you feel you're not adequate, you're not good enough.
I want to hear more about Taekwondo.
Oh, yeah.
So, black belt in Taekwondo. That is amazing. Amazing. So what was the impetus to even get you started into Taekwondo?
Oh, very interesting question. Great question. I never really thought about it. My oldest daughter, she joined, this is probably 10, 15 years ago when she was young. And when she advanced to high school, you know how busy she was and she wanted to quit. At that time, she's already a junior black belt. But she bugged me once in a while. She said, Mama, you should join us. It's really fun. So I go, it's fun. Why you want to quit? And she said, oh, just too busy, right? Everything. And I said, well, someday when you reach the black belt, Mom will join. I forgot about it. 3 years later, on the day she earned her black belt, she said, Mom, your turn now. She still remembers this. And I felt embarrassed. You know how it is for kids. You got to really keep your promise. I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And I wanted to find some excuse, but she was watching me. And also, of course, our masters are really good. They encouraged me. And I continued. That was 7 years ago.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
You know my age.
Yeah. Nope, we didn't figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't hear me saying that. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Niharika, please join us up front here. There's your mic. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and again, thank you for your speech today. So you are at Chamber Chatters.
That's right, in Pleasanton.
Pleasanton. All right. How long have you been at Chamber Chatters?
For about a year and a half, coming up 2 years, but I was a part of the youth leadership program and Gavel Club for Toastmasters since middle school, so a long time.
All right. If that is not a testimonial for our clubs to do some of the youth leadership programs, I mean, it inspires and gets new members, which was the reason why I think these Toastmasters started the youth leadership program. So thank you. Congratulations. So what makes your club so special?
I think it's really the diverse perspectives people bring. We have such a wide range of ages, backgrounds, even careers that come in, and people show up consistently and put so much effort into things. It inspires me to want to do the same. We also celebrate almost every holiday ever, so we have people from a bunch of different backgrounds. We recently celebrated in February Lunar New Year, and our table topics master put the table topics in fortune cookies, and he baked them himself.
Oh, wow.
And had us open it up and do a table topic, and that, I think, really stuck with me and just shows how dedicated and committed our members are to making sure every meeting is an experience.
That is fun. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Definitely.
What I love on your profile sheet, what inspires you the most? Women who influence. Tell us a little bit about that, or which women that you think of.
Yeah, so first answer that comes to my mind, and don't get embarrassed, is my mom. You want to give a little wave?
You're the one that made her go on that camping trip. Okay.
Yeah, she forced us on that trip. But she has been a Toastmaster for a while and also leads a lot of different youth leadership programs. And recently, I think I was talking to my supervisor at work. She's also a woman, and I was getting so annoyed with her because I was sending her emails or responding to her, but she wasn't getting back to me. And she would say, you need this done by Thursday, but Friday come next Monday, and I still don't hear back from her. And one day in one of our team meetings, she was talking about how much she had going on at home. She was taking care of her parents and juggling 3 side hustles, and I was like, what can women not do? And that's what inspired me to put that down in the speaker profile.
That is so true and very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have John Carlo. Good to see you. All right, full transparency, this was the third time that I've got to hear your speech. So thank you very much, and congratulations on making it to this level as well. So really appreciate that. Now I know we're going to hear a big yell. You're at Santa Rosa Club 182. Knew we were going to do that. No, this is wonderful. I've been able to visit that club many, many years ago when I was area director. So that's it's a great club that has been around a long time. So kind of what I've asked the others, what makes Santa Rosa 182 so special and you to continue to be there?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible club. It's filled with a lot of really unique, interesting people. You hear, in fact, I find it very fascinating how Toastmasters really brings in a lot of diversity of people, different backgrounds, and our club has that. In fact, I would love it if you guys would just stand up real quick. Real quick. You can all do it.
There is 182.
There they are.
Yay!
So you can see, yeah. We show up for one another. We encourage one another on every meeting. We meet once a week, and there's a lot of dedication involved, and I feel like I benefit from it every time I show up.
How long have you been a member?
A year and a half.
Only a year and a half.
Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. Were you at another Toastmasters club prior to that?
No.
But you're an actor, correct? Or
I
you
have
did some acting?
experience, yes.
And a poet, right?
Yes.
Published poet, right?
A published poet.
Wow, this is
Imagine
amazing.
that.
I know. No, it's not that it blows me away. It's because I don't know poetry that well, and it to me seems there would be no way that I could do something like that. I appreciate it, but I am not that side of the brain type of person. So it just I'm inspired by it. So.
Yeah, me too.
And one of the hobbies, and no one that just heard your speech will probably be surprised at this, but Giancarlo put down as one of his hobbies social justice. And I've never thought of social justice as being a hobby, but tell us what you do with social justice.
Well, I mean, it's a very broad thing. I can really only, what I can say about social justice is, being connected with yourself and with the immensity of human beings. It's miraculous. You want to show up for people. You want to make sure that people are cared for. You want to make sure that people are housed, that they're living a life, that they're following their dreams. And we, in the United States in particular, in the first world, we have extensive structural inequalities in this country. And there's a lot of work to be done from a social justice perspective. And in fact, my speech touches on some elements of that. And when you are involved in any kind of movement or action, it is a transformative experience. It changes you completely. And I feel like that's a hobby.
It's the passion, and I can see that. And one of the things that I wrote down that hit me during your speech is finding conviction. Find your conviction. And also, who is nudging you? I think we all need someone in our lives that are giving us that nudge to help us find that conviction. So, just like all the speeches, every one of you had just inspired me, and I know inspired many, many, many people in the audience as well by sharing your personal stories and also giving us the opportunity to grow from your experiences as well. So thank you all again. Let's clap. Just checking the time a little bit before I start my soft shoe. But go ahead and here, I'll take this. We'll do some questions for, it'll be the same questions for everybody. And then just like whoever can raise your hand. Is it ready? Oh, good. I didn't see him back there. Perfect. I don't have to do the soft shoe. But before you guys sit down, I have got your certificates of participation. So here for Derek, thank you very much. Thank you. Chris, thank you very much. It's out of order a little bit. Lucy, thank you very much, Lucy. All right. Marika, thank you so much. And Giancarlo, thank you, thank you. All right, go ahead and, oh, pictures. Let me get their pic. Why don't y'all come up a little closer on the stage too? There we go. There we go. Okie dokie. All right, go ahead and have a seat if they have all of that. Thank you, thank you. All right, well, it looks like the contest results are in. It has truly been a pleasure to be the Toastmaster for the International Speech Contest for this year. All of you, I almost said all y'all, I'm from the South, so I had to stop myself, but all y'all have been a wonderful audience. Appreciate y'all being here, and I would love to welcome back to the stage our contest chair, Kate Mills. Thank you. It's on. Do you want to put it, or you can hold it? But just okay.
Well, I don't have to be on my tiptoes anymore. I like that. So we had a great contest season. It was educational. It was fun. Raise your hands. Who would rather work all year on a great speech and turn out you're going to educate and inspire? Okay. And how many love that job of project manager? Your event's coming up. You got to network. You got to ask total strangers to do things on your event, and it gets a little harrowing at the end of the your contest is one day away. I don't have a timer. But we have good project managers. I think we did a good job of networking, right? And even though we used a few venues that were the same, we saw some similar faces popping up. What happened? Each event, club, and area, and division turned out to be unique. They were unique events. None of them had the same feel, the same outcomes. It was very interesting. So I am hoping one of you all will step up to be contest chair next year. It's a fun job, it's an interesting job, and I never met so many great people, interesting people in all kinds of ways. So I want to thank you for doing that. We're going to thank our team now, because obviously every contest takes a minimum of 17 people, not including the contestants, and it takes a village, it really does. And people worked hard all year. So are we ready? Okay, it'd be great if I brought the right forms. One moment. Wait, there's more. I'm just going to start reading the names of the judges we want. No.
So many volunteers, so many interesting people, and it's all about a culture of service. So I want to extend my sincere appreciation to the following people. I'm not going to call them up one at a time. For ballot councils, Lisa Fairchild. Another ballot counter, William Wilson. Mary Bustamante.
There is Mary.
Ballot counter 3, and of course, Ray Goldman. Sure.
He left.
And last ballot counter, Aki McKinsey. Of course, to ensure every contestant is within the rules in terms of time, we have timers. And the first sitting there with her lovely daughter is Daria Hoover.
You did a great job. I got to say. When we started this contest season, this 6-year-old, she was a busy girl, but she has learned to 1 minute of silence. She has learned the rules and she sticks by them. Future Toastmaster.
And seated next to Daria is Nitin Nahua.
All right.
Who else we got here?
We got some Sergeant at Arms. Let's give it up for Sally Philbin Field. Where is Sally? She's had a very long day from setting up things.
To my name, but that's not my name.
Not Sally Philbin. Well, that's crazy news. Okay, who told me this morning I needed to drink water because I was delirious? Giancarlo. See, that's that social justice coming out. He needs justice for you. I'll start drinking water. You talked me into it. There you go. Get your all right. And Shaki, you want to be holding on. Okay, let's get to Shaki Ford. Shaki, are you here? She must probably have guarded. Oh, there you are. I was afraid you were out still guarding the door from the outside. Okay, Sheridith Moret. And Diane.
So not only is there a Toastmaster of the Day, but we had 2. Our speech contest Toastmaster and a tabletop Toastmaster. Here we go.
All right.
Starting with Toastmaster of the evening, Diane Boyle. All right, well, without further ado, the moment you've been waiting for. District Director of the new District 205.
Hi, thank you, everyone. You know that little bit of break in our time where we were working ahead, we used it all up. All that slack is gone. So we have to be, we have to be really quick. So without further ado, I do want to start with the results of our table topics contest. Thank you, everyone, for your wonderful answers to the question. Let's get started. All right, third place winner, Sonia Batia. If I did that right. Let me get myself organized. Wait, no. No, yeah, you're right. Hand you the trophy as we leave. I'm gonna get the trophies at some point. I need somebody to grab the trophies for me also. Okay. Second place winner, Julie St. Germain. That's not how it's written. We'll take care of it. Hans, can you come up here first? Come up here for a second, please. We have to fix something quickly. Come here. Right there, Hans. Is that wrong? We're doing tape. Well, you're correct. No, you're correct. Who is correct? Right, who is correct? Okay, but I had it reversed on the sheet, so I apologize. Our third place was actually Chris Lele, and our first place table topics winner, and again, my apologies, my friend, was Sonia. So congratulations. I may just make you stay here, so you can stay. You stay. I think you want to stay. All right. Now, sort it out. Okay. Next, we move on to the results of the International Speech Contest. All right. Third place winner, Lucy Chen. Please come on down. Okay. Second place, Niharika Shuzarala. And the winner of the International Speech Contest, whose name will be submitted and video will be submitted to Toastmasters International and hopefully gets to take a visit to Vancouver, British Columbia, is Giancarlo Campagna. Now, we're going to get pictures. pictures that everybody get together. I'm going to get your trophies now. Oh. I'm going to have them get their trophies really quick. Yeah, I do. Need some help. Okay. This is international speech. This is for you. We're going to take a photo in just a minute. This is for you. International. And this is you. Somehow we got out of order, but that's okay. And then we have our other. Thank you so much. Okay, and table topics. So try to bring me back. Your post was you, your trophy. Okay, was Julie. Here's a beautiful trophy. But she is second. And you were first. Those were in the right order. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, can we get a picture really quick? You have to tell me where we need to be. Come on. Yes, everybody else want pictures? I can be behind you. All right. Congratulations to all of our winners. And lastly, I want to take just a few seconds to thank everyone who helped at the conference, everyone who helped at all the contests through today. I appreciate everyone's help. Special thank you to Tiffany and to Charles. Thank you so much for helping me put this together. And thank you to Jeff Young for always being there and supporting me all the way through this. Thank you, everybody. And it looks like we're out of time, so Post Toasties is happening, and we're going to walk over to Waterhawk, right?
I would recommend driving.
Oh, you recommend driving. Never mind. We're going to follow Sheridith and Renee. We'll figure out where we're going. Thank you so much.
Special thanks to our camera crew of Luxway Visuals. Thank you so much for sticking this with us and helping us out to get this done. And so thank you.